this crowd, how they feel about you. This is who you fight for. This matters to you. You said in London, you said that you don't bury talent, that you are talent. Well,
James.
I know a graveyard of talent that would disagree with that statement, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about WrestleMania. Let me ask you a question, John. Do you know his name? The one who handed you the microphone. You know his name? No. You don't know her name either, do you? And I'd wager if you walk backstage, you don't know any of those people either.
Oh, damn.
This is a different WWE, John. And when this was your WWE, I worshipped you. They worshipped you. But since the GOAT hasn't shown up since Elimination Chamber, I'm going to for your perspective, okay? You called me underwhelming. Guess what? You're overrated. You're overbearing. And more importantly, you're out of touch and you're out of time. Your face is melting wax. You got a stack of dimes for a neck, spindly ass legs. You're paler than Sting at Starrcade 97. And you're sanctimonious comments about how I'm an errand boy when the whole world watched you saunter on the Oscar stage butt-ass naked for the people that you run errands for now. And by God, John Cena, it is 2025 and you still can't wrestle.
All right. All right. Let's see what my friends are doing.
Idiots.
Oh, they are so great.
They're just like you. They don't know what they want, and Cody, on Sunday to beat you, I don't have to wrestle. Orgullosamente latino hasta la muerte y después. Worldwide Latino pride. The ambassadors of violence. LAX, K-Dot, the notorious 187.
Duggan and Duggan.
I'm from Miami, not Compton. Down with the S's in the 6-4 hopping. To my orders was in the 787 and those up in Brooklyn 1 and 211. So through Chicago, I'm really my low tight chuck. Making sure see me every time we fuck. Check like up like a nut going 50, welcome to K100 with Conan and Disco. Millions and millions of downloads and pound after pound of Iranian tobacco later. We're now chopping it up on Believe. This week on the show, from the Wrestling Observer and Figure 4 Online, Brian Alvarez returns by popular demand for this week's part 1 of a 2-part interview. Topics include rewatching old Mid-South wrestling, AAA and the Lucha Libre influence on American pro wrestling, AEW's style of storytelling and the lack of video packages, The Rock not appearing at WrestleMania, John Cena as heel, and why Dave Meltzer refuses to record with a Disco Inferno. Plus, the crew reviews WrestleMania, a Paul Heyman and Pat McAfee clip, the recent back and forth between The Rock and Dave McGregor, all this plus Disco's theory on the beef between Triple H and The Rock, the sports talk, and so much more. And now, without further delay, let's hand off to the master of the verbal gems, Conan. ready to play that. Just do that. Do that. I'm getting used to it.
First, before we go to start off the show, there's breaking news.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Alan Angels is no longer a TNA wrestler.
Oh, really? What happened?
I don't know, but I would like to say Alan Angels. Who?
Wasn't Alan Angels? Wait. He was in the Dark Order, wasn't he?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like he went from the Dark Order
to TNA.
And now they released.
Right.
Oh, man.
That's a big news.
That's not a good career arc, to be honest with you.
Oh, man.
Okay. So, we're back with episode 460 of Keeping It 100 with Conan, the mighty DI, and Delco Joe. Boom, what it do?
Going on.
We're back like we never left. Let's start out the show like we always do with the shout-outs. If I butcher your name or city, too bad. It's our Iranian tobacco accent. We keeping it 1,000. Daniel Scott Pomerantz from London. The Alba Avan from Puerto Rico. Sam Tablestamp from Paris, France. Cody No Yeet from Canada. Wayne Scroggins, originally from Shafter, California, now in Yuma, and his son Joshi. Thank you guys for listening. Cappuccino Jones. He's repping.
Oh, that's our boy Cappuccino Jones.
Yeah, he listens to the show. He's repping.
Really?
Yeah, he's repping Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Coffeeville, Kansas. WWE wrestler. So
right.
I'm sure I'll be running into him.
No, we discussed it because remember,
I
know what
he
looked like.
Yeah.
And you thought he was going to be like a light-skinned black guy, which he was.
Right.
I thought he was going to be like a millennial.
Man, come on. Stop wasting my damn time. Either I'm in or I'm not.
Right.
He's actually got a good look. So, only band 7890 Chicago, 103 weeks Cleveland, Ohio, Black Sheep Riding Street, Port Louisiana. That might have been the place where I saw Raven with the Troll. WM from West Haven, Connecticut. I'm Tired, San Jose, California. Nick Night Train, Sacramento. He's an indie wrestler. Wes Mason from St. Simon Island, Georgia. Do you know where that is?
Absolutely. It's right down there at Savannah. Okay. St. Simon is a Jekyll Island. That's where all the... Let me tell you full backstory here.
Yeah.
So, Georgia, Florida,
right.
Okay, would always play in they call the world's largest cocktail party in Jacksonville.
Right,
right?
100%.
So, all the Georgia fans go down and stay in St. Simon's and Jekyll Island. Which
been there, done it, not beating it. I'm not wasting time.
And excellent golf. There's I think they've got a PGA or a US Open there, but the huge golf town. So it's like your rich boy, your rich white boy college, like that. It's very cool seaside town. Like if you and your wife, it's like what you it's like a vacation spot.
Yeah,
I'll start a little bit later. I woke up 5 minutes after 5 o'clock.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jeremy Hadley, Indianapolis. Ryan F.
Well, here the hell I am.
Erie, Pennsylvania. Gabriel Ramirez. He's the city clerk for El Monte, California. James Dove, born in Vegas, raised in Detroit. Debbie from Gainesville, Florida. She's got a YouTube channel called Wrestling in 60 Seconds. Check that out. People, when you say your YouTube channels, tell us what it's about.
Right.
And
what is the YouTube channel again?
It's called Wrestling in 60 Seconds.
Let me see this. While you do this.
Okay. Pat Springleaf, Newcastle, Indiana. Nicolas Petanato, probably a paisan of yours.
Come on, no.
California. Chris, originally Brooklyn, now in Howie in the Hills, Florida.
Wow. From Brooklyn?
Yeah. Originally, Stephen J. from Lafayette, Louisiana, and Jack Silverman from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay, so it's Chicken Wrestling 60 Seconds. She's only got 1,700 subscribers.
Right.
But she's got over 2,000 videos.
Wow.
Well, but because they're all like less than 60 seconds long.
Oh, that's why Wrestling in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, yes, right. So,
yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, people, when you send your YouTube, we have no problem shouting you out. But if you don't tell people what it's about, they're not going to go. Go, hey, we do wrestling in 60-second formats, clips, we do video, whatever it is your fucking show's about.
Right.
Okay. And I want to thank everybody that's been listening to us internationally and domestically. Our numbers at our all-time high. worldwide, thanks to you guys.
Come the
You know, you
fuck
have
on.
other entertainment podcasts and options and information, and thank you for picking us to be one of them or the only one. This is for our paid YouTube members. First of all, thank you for your support. It keeps us employed by the industry and, of course, the fans of our work, and you get more content. Okay, Corey David, Hillary Clinton's ankles, Bluebells Are Blue, Adam, Matt, The Prodigy, Mr. Ortega, Brown Nose Master, Shuli Egar, Rosario Scribe Comics, Leo Packet, Smelly Ho, Ho, some
What? Well, yeah, time out. What is that one?
Smelly
Dude,
Whore.
don't waste my damn
We'll
time.
spend that first again
They
later.
must have lost or some shit.
Some Punk 82, Sean, Rod Stewart Groupie, that's tremendous. Your Majesty Don, Cake Fluid, JC West, Eamon Westland, Colin Colin, Crier, the gayest gardener in the world, and No Money. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you very
No
much.
money, man,
Great
and
way
none
to support our
decent.
show for those of you guys that have it. Our subscriber count now is at 66,000. We're a little bit less than 40,000 away from getting that plaque, and our view count is at 58 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're 58 million. Huh? That's not
Yeah.
bad. That's a pretty solid number.
Yeah.
I remember when Jericho was at 200 million.
Wow.
When he talked to me, when he was doing his podcast.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's like 2/3 of the United States. Like, and listen to, like, if you look at
Yeah,
those
but
numbers.
you also got to remember with Jericho, we take nothing away from him because he was actually our boss for a while when we were at that podcast one, remember?
Yeah.
You know, he has a
We're
bigger
gonna
name
waste
than
my
us,
time with
and
this
number
too,
two,
aren't you?
well, that's not all because you have to be entertaining, and he is. But he also
Cheap
has
full of
access to a
fucking
lot of
players.
people we don't. Hopefully, now that I'm working there, I'll have access to those same people.
Interesting. We can go over WrestleMania a little bit. Here's some of the pay-per-views from it. DDT Pro Wrestling had a pay-per-view.
I'm sick of this shit.
Mao and Suzuki versus Yoshi.
Let me do something, damn it.
Yeah, not interested.
Wrestling Open R1 Episode 4. Waves and Curls against Gal and Nick Daggett. Waves and Curls. Bryce Donovan is also on that show. He wrestled Eric Chacha.
Oh,
Bryce Donovan wrestled Eric Chacha.
yeah,
Ray
no.
Jazz wrestles Bobby Orlando on that show. From Cincinnati. Fourth Row Wrestling. The heels have eyes for the culture. Zilla Fatu
Right?
against Josh Bishop.
Lord,
It is still cage
you
wrestling.
just wasted my fucking time.
The Fourth Row title. Dave Kidd wrestled Matt Riddle on that show also. So this might be an interesting organization. Fourth Row Wrestling. Now, New Texas
Thank
Pro
you for
Wrestling.
wasting my
Part of
fucking
Michael
time.
Wilson. They wrestled for the Texas Pro title. And Zeta Steele versus Bert Dixon versus Brittany Brooks at a three-way for the Texas Men's title.
This survival, you can play 7 ways.
I saw highlights.
Oh, you're a cute boy player. You gonna see me that
Cross
bitch.
was on it.
But the thing was
Gallo
full.
was on it. Did you guys see any of that or see highlights?
Yes.
Stupid. Don't send it to me if the damn thing is full.
Open the Jey Uso beating the Gunther.
Can't wait for 6
The whole reason they booked this is to get the whole crowd doing the Gunther's, the yeet after the match. 16 minutes. What did you think of this?
Good match. I especially like the ending when they just threw everything at each other. They were chopping and super kicking, and it's just weird to me how everybody kind of figured out that Jey Uso was going to win because the odds indicated that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the first match, so you get that first match energy, right? And the crowd was hot. They're waiting for the show to start. So this match had a lot of good heat. This was really good. I thought
Damn
this was really
thing
good.
disappeared.
Had a big match feel. I like the title match introductions. This was good.
This is definitely a match I didn't care about, and the result is kind of obvious. New Day beat Floyd Raiders.
Yeah.
You have any comment on that?
The only thing I would say is that, bro, you could hear the people didn't give a shit about this match after being red hot, and that's a lot because the booking's been brutal here.
Right. Jay versus Naomi was actually pretty good. One Region Power Field Kansas. Another solid match. There were some choppy moments. But Jay's power move looked good. That's what most fans will remember. You know what Jay Cargill reminds me of a little bit? He's kind of like a Lex Luger type. Like Luger wasn't the smoothest worker, but he had enough of offense that was good enough that he was over. You know, but just based on his looks alone. do you think about that comment, Rex?
That's a pretty good analogy, except I think she's more athletic than Lex Wedge.
Younger Lex.
What the fuck did I
You
do?
would expect Lex did in the late 80s, early 90s. He moved a lot better then. It's almost like actually
When he got older, yeah.
when he got older and did less, and he was really something.
The thing with Jake Fargo is you can tell she's athletic, but it's kind of like, that athleticism where you're having trouble pulling your she has no trouble working it.
Right.
Her work, but she is very athletic.
And not only that, she's still green, dude.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And she's kind of choppy in her work, because like she's not smooth enough yet. Like her head and feet are completely together. But like you said, when she does do one of the power moves, she's very strong and athletic and looks very impressive. And she definitely gets by. She's easily influenced with all those top moves based on her personality and all of that.
Oh, that's sure.
Like the punching and kicking.
That's sure, boy. Yeah.
But she can get by with working with those girls, but she's not the best worker. You know what I'm saying? Like those other girls are like Becky and Bailey and Charlotte.
Yeah, but they all have a lot more experience.
I don't know.
Right. My favorite match was in the best part of the show was you played the Lasagna North tournament. You find that. I thought
Wasn't the Jacob Fatu match before that?
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, I missed it. That's too big. I'm not close to it. Jacob Fatu beat LA Knight in arguably the easiest pick of the night. If you were picking a winner of this match. Yeah, he was a overwhelming favorite. And he got he's a big, they weren't booting LA Knight.
No, they were beating Chad.
Right, but they like that. They like Jacob Fatu. I don't think it'd be a good angle for Jacob Fatu. It's kind of like it is the crosshairs of Paul Hayes. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of, they got the history. And I can see, Paul, you've seen the other Samoan guys trying to, take out Jacob Fatu, make him like a wanted man, like he does the wrong stuff. It's kind of interesting, I remember back in the day when the first time Warriors hit the ring or a run-in against the NWO. And I'll just remember get the play that they've been waiting for, because they didn't accept the tag, But there came a time where the interaction as Goldberg hit the ring, the roof flew off the place. You know what I'm saying? I could see Jacob Fatu hit the ring as a baby face, like a Heyman guy at some point and just blew the roof off, If Heyman got him to get like that, but this is a very good match, too. The thing is that these guys wrestle kind of basic style, so that they don't get crazy, goofy, weird spots. So it kind of work, Great feet.
Do you want to see this?
You the ones who shot me, that's payment.
Oh, that's African. And I like the break when they're showing the film. But you go to my time all the time. But how do you like this production, Tony?
Very good.
Yeah. And Ray Phoenix got lucky. He got his. How did he go there?
Just done like a month.
I think it's 3 weeks. Yeah. He's already on
the first.
By luck, Ray introduced the inevitable match. But Brandon Americano, the Kingo was there because they announced the play that was purchased by WWE. So the Kingo was there, and the Kingo and Brandon Americano had an interaction. I imagine that maybe Brandon Americano was the case of the Kingo. The Triple H, is that actually something?
I can't talk anymore about what our plans are, but I would think that's where we would go.
It's kind of any fan would conclude possibly that that's the direction we go, correct?
Why you started, right?
That's right.
Isn't this the same thing?
Yeah. So it's something very good at it. He gave me the Canelo Cinco de Mayo fight field. Like in the Mexican dance club, Next is the big extravagant Starlight. I'm just wondering, I don't get your thought. What are your thoughts on?
Well, you shut people up with a great match. It was really physical, and
well, sick of this shit, man.
She's still a great worker. They beat the shit out of each other, which I liked. But
They did a good job of making it look like, because they had the realism involved, to make it look kind of choppy and clumsy. You make it rougher. It's not like they were like going at it.
to Charlotte's credit, she's a great worker, made Stratton a star that night.
Right.
You know?
They continue.
And her credibility.
You mentioned the way the story's been set up. Seth versus Roman versus a Punk. The finish, everybody's down. Slide the chair in between Punk and Roman. Slides it to Punk. Punk gets up to hit Roman. All slides behind Punk, gives him a nut shot. Roman takes the chair, all smiling. He's getting ready to hit Seth. Punk nut shots Roman. So now Roman and Punk are down with nut shots.
You been kicked it.
Punk gets
I
Seth
got
the
kicked
chair.
from the
Hits
jug.
Roman with the chair, stomps Roman with the chair, shoves Punk out of the ring, pins Seth, pins Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman turns on Seth, on Punk and Roman. I mean, the simplicity of the story is fascinating, because you would figure that's the easiest way to book it, but it worked, and it still caught everybody by surprise. You know what I'm saying? Well, what do you think?
Well, I thought the match, first of all, I thought the match was great. Okay? Great heat, great near falls. I like the part where Rollins countered a spear.
I've been there, done that, not beating this thing.
And Rollins was a lot like Kevin Owens. He likes trolling people. You know, he put Punk in his favorite wrestler's finisher, the sharpshooter. I like that. I liked everything about this, to tell you the truth. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I predicted Jey Uso was going to win. Well, everybody knew Jey was going to win.
And that's right.
Right.
There were no surprises also on any but
I also predicted that Paulie would end up with Seth.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so
The
now,
odds
I didn't want to do this, damn it.
that too, but I didn't like it.
So
I actually
stupid,
thought
eh?
they would do it, but once you go ahead through Raw, it's something different. Paul's already been with Roman, he's already been with Punk, so it's
right.
Right. So that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the thinking. The thinking is, I would assume, is Paulie's been with Punk for years. Paulie's been with this, and we need a viral moment, and we need an can you believe what happened to end the show, and what better than him and Seth.
I'll
And
go
then
one
Monday
step
they add another member.
I'll go one step further.
Right.
What we talked about with Alvarez yesterday
Right.
is that, bro, we talked about, remember last year, we already discussed this, but we said, if you finish the story, what happens the day after WrestleMania? Bro, they literally, since Cody finished the story, they went through a calendar year of flat booking. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if they thought, you know what? The day after WrestleMania, we need to start hot, unlike we did last year. And this completely creative turn, a different direction. I thought this was a good hot, this led to a good hot start for after WrestleMania, because their top storyline is very interesting now. You know what I'm saying? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought, like, in summation, when I'm looking at the matches, the main event was great, and
Enjoying my girl.
was great. Usos win at the
In the
at
fight.
the beginning was really good. People
I always
really
get this.
took it out for that.
They
And the
busy.
Stratton, Charlotte,
Their shit is full, and I can't join their shit.
All right, so the next night, too, we got what I thought was our first surprise finish. Because Io beat Bianca and Rhea in an excellent women's match. These are arguably three of probably, these are probably the top, three of the top. And bro, the attention to detail was excellent. Good stuff. I mean, I was very impressed with Io. I
Well, was mad about that.
the women
Was mad
that are
about
really
that.
good working. It just looks completely different than a lot of the other, women's matches. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought the match was really, really good. The only problem I still have, and hopefully one day I'll get over it, is that, Io looks like a little girl with women in there. I mean, Ripley and Belair just look like full.
Skinny.
She looks like, what I'm saying? But she can go in the ring, the people like her, and this match was real good. And
You.
if you notice, they were already, first of all, Ripley got a great pop, and they were booing Belair. I think people kind of think, okay, her and Naomi.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're going to have to go. You know what the fans are doing? I think
Right.
they're forcing them to tell that story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're booing Bianca like that. Maybe they didn't think about that creatively, but maybe that's what they want the creative direction of that angle to be.
Right,
You know what I'm
because
saying?
people just gave it to you. Just go with it.
Right, just go with it. You know, maybe they're changing direction, but they're like, okay, let's tell that story. Why not? You know, that's it. Yeah. I didn't see this match, but I saw enough of the highlights. I saw the three big high spots.
Yeah.
They did the old school thing where he's on the ropes like the.
All I want to do is join the survival.
Tables.
At least you could have gave me a chance to
Put his head in the thing.
foul Emma, but I thought I did that shit.
I didn't watch this match. I saw the
Yes, I
highlights.
did watch it.
Yeah,
So let me say the first thing. That guy from Slayer that came out
right.
at the beginning, he was awesome. I mean, he was really good on the guitar. Did you see that, Joe?
Yeah, I think it was Kerry King.
I don't know his fucking name, but the guy was excellent. Yeah, what an entrance. Anyway, I hate matches where I really like both guys and I don't want anybody to lose, and this was it. Drew and Damien, but I think he needed to win this. He could throw it. He could only do a quick tire fight in the Damien Street, especially if they're going against each other. You know they're going to name Drew McIntyre shove piece off the ropes, two tables, you know, and then hit him with the Claymore to steel chair. After the main event, after the first match, really good. This is really good, but it was very different.
That was the part of the two. I don't know how much I watched it. I watched this the match for 3 minutes. Once again, it's going to be either way they shoot things, and they just fail the finish. You know, just perfect time. Perfectly for Dom.
Yes.
And like getting into the cradle 1, 2, 3.
What kind of crazy list this?
Because the fans appreciate that they love Dom's character. So they didn't interrupt him, but he finally got a medal.
And they protected Blade because Dominic was kind of taking advantage. He could swing everybody.
Right.
He could to the announce table. He was throwing everybody.
Oh, he didn't even know.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. Like, for what? I go, what do you got to give him yours? You got, what do you got to do in the bar? What do you think? I got back to take it off.
He's got a really good sense of humor.
Right, yeah.
Who was he with?
Okay, who's in it with Cage and Melissa? Well, the fans also think our club Cage and Melissa fans was here. So Brian, look at here. Some of the because wrestling is down. So Melissa fans are AEW, you know.
Yeah, but what she's doing is she's sending autographs to singing.
Yeah, like this. People, just sitting, you know, like Robin. They give her the food. They sit there, the fans can go and shake their pictures with her. And, but yeah. So it looks like, you know, it's just like a feeling that you come to her club.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
And so then, yes, he's with Cage and Carlito. But some of the wrestlers really did. All the wrestlers were booked. They had to go to the club.
Okay, so what wrestlers showed up? You told me Riddle showed up?
That's it.
No, you told me Riddle was there.
No, that was previously they said that when WWE was in town. This is months ago.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood.
This crew came in. Okay, collectively one night. All these guys came in. This is a while back, maybe a year ago, right?
Now, before you tell me, did these people know you worked there, or did they find out? Okay, all right.
Stupid, isn't it?
Right.
Austin Theory.
Right.
Matt Riddle.
Let me guess. Dom was with Theory and Riddle.
Right. Yeah, and then the Usos.
The Usos. Oh wow.
So those are pretty cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell those. You can tell those guys that go out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did you have any listeners comments during this weekend? A few people. Messaged me like, maybe we'll stop by and stuff.
Yeah. So next was Randy Orton's mystery opponent, and I knew this information because, well, the original Hot News K-Favorite actually did give me Hot News accidentally when I'd seen him at the TV station on Thursday, or Wednesday it was. It was on a Wednesday. So this is like 4 days before. And he told me that he was there with Joe Hendrick promoting TNA, but he says, hey, Joe's doing the spot with Randy on Sunday. I could have ruined that whole spot. If I would have gone viral on the internet, like told, hey, like I could have told all the dirt sheet guys, you know?
But you're not friends with them, so why would you?
Or why would I? And I'm completely the type of guy that does not like.
Except you just finished telling me this guy had 25 and this guy had 25, and I haven't seen the game yet. At least you did tell me.
No.
So,
Oh, my bad. I missed it.
Right. Yeah, he said, he's going to get both get 25 points each.
I think they both will.
And then he challenged to get 20.
Yeah, I think you'll get all three. You'll get all three. I think you'll get all three.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. So next was Logan Paul, this baby style. I haven't seen this match yet. I'm going to watch it, but I heard it was just Cross got involved, and it people said that not a lot of heat for this build-up.
But here's the thing, bro, that I didn't like when the show was over. So, then Jay, bro, that tall manager that had zero charisma, I don't even know why the fuck he's there. He tried to give him some, and then Karrion Kross came out of nowhere, like stop him, and then he kind of like selling styles to do the dark side, right? And of course he refused, which is kind of like what Cody did in the main event. That's why they liked this, okay? And then I think he tried the phenomenal four on Paul's head, like ducked it, and then hit him with his finish, which I love. They didn't really have as good chemistry as we had in like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. And it almost felt like Disco that when they were putting together.
Get him.
What do we got for AJ Styles? Well, really nothing. What do we got for Logan Paul? Well, let's put it together. The build-up wasn't that good. The match that good. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as you expect. Following build-up, right? Yeah. That's what always brings it. And so did AJ, and I was very disappointed. Let me put it
If I was the booker, if I was on the writing team, I would have a backstage segment where the conversation between Cody and AJ, and they both talked about, that they both kind of made the same mistake. And it cost them. But we did, like, we would have, like, I think it was cool because AJ said, I can't be making any mistakes. And so you want people to be like, it could be good. It's not for him to be a deal, If I can't afford him to do that, I'm going to be my career, and then you're going to do like, Cody Goodman, that's right. You can't make, you can't be making mistakes like that, Cody just John Cena.
Becky Lynch, man.
Well, it's funny, it's like a tag, So Becky Lynch and Bailey played, but when it's kind of living like that. Everybody's got that. Living like Cody, so everything's good, just get over, so, everybody knows what's been told this
Chris, the only question was Becky, who also got a bit about. She, when they're putting okay, we need Becky to look strong.
I ain't gotta be the big.
She looked good for being on like a year or whatever she was at.
Yo, fuck.
we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
Travis Scott, Rock, Roman finish. It was one, I thought there might be a false finish spot with the belt, and it's with the belt, he bends him. It's like you don't really, all these kick outs and everything.
What I was thinking, right? Yeah, what I was thinking is if Rock got mad and he said, "Fuck it, I'm not showing up anymore" for whatever reason, because it almost sounds like that's why did he do everything that he did up to the elimination chamber, right?
Somebody posted a great spot. It was a great promo that Hunter.
Hurry up.
A while back.
Right.
And was kind of calling out the Rock, like, you don't run the show here. Right. It was an in-ring promo. He was getting a popular thing. Like I said, I wonder if this is what this led to what the Rock like. Did you tell the promo was based on? Let me try and find it. So look
let me tell you.
We'll try and find a hundred like typical promo Rock on it. Yeah, you can find that. So I was just watching today on Twitter. Go ahead.
So the thing was is that I couldn't believe, with as many creative minds as they have and many resources they have, that Rock put them in a predicament.
Oh shit!
He all of a sudden, hey, you want to be a heel? Well, I was thinking about it. Well, yeah, we'll give you the belt and all this, okay? And he did it, right? But they should have come up with something to make up for the fact that The Rock wasn't there, because nobody gives a fuck about Travis Scott, And so I couldn't believe how badly booked this was,
Right.
for the main event night 2 and who was involved.
Right. Well, thank God we got out of the rut the next day.
Right.
So let's talk about. So that was a snack. That was.
Let me just tell you real quick my summary of this. I thought Sundays was better than Saturdays. I like the triple threat. I thought Priest and McIntyre rocked that bitch. And the four-way for winning down one, that was a really good match too. And I also thought, which I'm sure you did too, the main event from Saturday was better than the main event on Sunday.
Oh, well, 100%. The thing was like we had the undercard of night 2 was considerably better than night 1.
Right.
And the main event of night 1 was considerably better than night 2. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So that was kind of odd.
Some people don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, play that. People say hey, listen to verbiage.
Okay, David, come on with it. Glenn.
Date, do you know?
It's a while back.
Okay.
You'll hear what he's talking about.
Some people don't know their role. So I wanted to come out here and I don't know, just set the record straight because I felt like there are people that went out there and tried to put their authority when they don't really have any. Because here's the thing, I really don't care where you sit. There's one thing that is abundantly clear here. Whether people like them or they don't like them, the answers come from one place, and one place only, and right now, you are looking at it. There are some people back there that decision will disappoint them. That maybe they won't like that decision. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you don't like that decision. So with that said, welcome to the road to WrestleMania.
So they're obviously taking a shot to Rock like this.
Right. I wonder if, Rock was insisting on doing him and Roman, and they were like, no, we're going to go with Cody, and that you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, that might be the conversation on the promo on the page. Yeah. Tony, guess what?
What up?
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Do you know one is you can use promo code free. You don't want to make it a mess? Comfortable and easy grooming. Chicken.
Incredible, gets a really good. We tried it, and we have with us from the Wrestling Observer, Brian. Does anybody want to go faster? How the rules? Okay, everybody.
Right off the bat, I got 2 questions for you. Number 1, first I want to thank you for coming on the show because I thought you were bullshitting me. Okay, and I very rarely can have you guys call anybody personally, and I did with you, and I do it with you. I want to thank you for coming on Walk Disco's here because A, who had been on our show many times before, never got disrespected by Disco, never got ambushed, he's a friend of the show just like you are, just decided one day, oh, I'm not going to go on the show because Disco's there, right? And I'm like, bro, you fucking, because I love Sturdy Dave on Twitter, okay? He's got some really good lines. But you fight with people you don't even fucking know on Twitter and you won't come on our show because Disco's on it. But I thank you for coming on Washington.
He did tell me this weekend he won't do the show if Disco is on.
So, what's the deal with it? You know?
I can believe it happened.
Right. Well, me and Brian have always been cool. Actually, Brian, I wanted to ask you, did you watch that clip I sent you, Mr. Wrestling number 2, the assassination?
I think you did. That was what we watched like a month ago.
Yeah. I think that he
Used to have that.
That is of all time.
Yeah. We started off
and everything.
We started doing a Mid-South watch-along.
Those are close, though.
Mid-South 1984. So we started watching the weekly TV for the Tuesday show, and Mr. Wrestling 2, that guy is awesome. He is great.
Because he was very believable, like Ole Anderson.
Yeah,
very believable.
Right. Good wrestler, great promo.
Right.
And he's one of those guys who's like, you know this, Conan. These luchadors who wear a mask.
Right.
and like their face is completely obscure. But they're so good that you always know what they're thinking. You always know if they're happy, sad, angry, and you can't see their face.
Right. Well, their personality resonates
Yeah.
from the mask.
Yeah.
What do you think of those Mid-South tapes, looking at back now, 20, 30 years later?
Dude, I love Mid-South.
Very
The
boring.
Rock and Roll Express and the
So
Midnight
good.
Express are doing these matches that are just, I mean, they're different than what you see today because obviously they didn't do destroyers and stuff, although Ricky Morton's has a 1.5. But the stuff they did at the time was like state of the art, fast, boom, boom, boom. I mean, you watch the rest of the show and, they're good matches for the time, kind of, slow pace. I like the style. But then those teams get in the ring and it's like, wow. That's like a totally different.
Plus, you know who was super old? JYD.
JYD, yeah, we're watching that era.
You know what's interesting about you know what's interesting too about when you watch those matches is how kind of like when you watch this Rock and Roll at Midnight, how kind of like the structure of tag team matches is completely changing too. Because that would be like, the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight thing, like put them over for like 10 straight minutes. High spot after high spot going the babyface's way. And then they would just cut them off instantly. Like 3 minutes of heat, and then they come back and it's like, it was always Heat gets beat up, cheat, gentlemen cheat, and then we go to the finish and they either cheat or they put the other people. But it's just like, you don't really see that structure anymore with the hot bag. It's like kind of.
I'm going to tell you, Brian, my hypothesis since I've been in the business, okay? And tell me if you disagree or agree, okay? So when I first broke in, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring luchadors to WCW is because I couldn't believe the product that WCW and WCW, Mr. Yankum, the shark coming out of the water in WCW, the guy falling through the wall, that fucking two guys, triple cage match from Zeke or whatever his name was, Zeus. And I was like, this is fucking corny. Wait till they see Lucha, right? And I think what happened is a generation of wrestlers were like, Hogan's slow and kind of lame, and so is everybody else. But these guys right here, they're doing really cool shit. And then what happened was all the young guys wanted to do Lucha. The problem is that as it became easier to get into wrestling, you had a lot of people that were not trained properly, a lot of trainers that weren't that good, right? And if you kind of knew somebody to get into the business, and then you started to see all the floppy habits you see in both promotions, more so in AEW. Because AEW, when I look at it, they look like a glorified indie. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you don't see a lot of selling. That's why you don't see, like, I always tell people, look at Eddie, he wasn't tall. Look at Benoit, he wasn't tall. But everything they did was believable. And they didn't do stupid stuff like the guy's clapping, and then he hits the rope and hits you with the tope, and the whole time you're standing there like a jackass. They fucking be selling something and kind of side view it and just to be funny, boom. Or another one that I hate is the one where somebody gets on the top rope and there's like 10 people waiting for them, right? And everybody falls, and the only thing missing is like, when you hit a strike in bowling, that's the sound effect that's missing. And me and Disco hate this. Side clap. Way too much. Way too often. What do you say about anything that I just said?
Well, I do think that the luchadors were a really big part of what really got Nitro off to a hot start in '95 because
Fuck that happened to me here.
and they brought in Hogan and they had Flair and they brought in Savage and then they brought in Hall and Nash. But you got like a 2-hour show. And these guys weren't going to be all over the show, so like what do you do to not only keep people watching the show, but also bring in new fans because maybe they don't know who these guys are. And, they've actually said this, and I agree with it. If I had somebody and I wanted to introduce them to wrestling, and it's like, you don't know anything about wrestling, but I want you to watch this match, and maybe if you watch it, you're going to start kind of thinking wrestling's pretty cool.
This episode is so damn sucky.
Because lucha matches, you don't need to know the people necessarily. You don't need to know their characters, their story, whatever. A lucha match is so much fun. It's like watching a Cirque show, like a real good lucha match.
Right.
And, the best when Lucha is at its best, there's nothing better.
Bro,
No,
I've
it's
said
worse.
that a million
No,
times.
there's nothing worse. Also.
Right. It's like comedy or music. Bad music is really bad. Good music is really good. But the problem is you had all these people that were watching tapes, and they were doing what they saw on the tapes without, what would be the word? Without.
They would pick out a spot and not understand how the match actually was put together as a whole.
Right.
Oh,
And so a lot of people.
Spot that guy did. I'm going to throw that in the middle of this.
Right. And a lot of people, when they would come to Mexico, like foreigners, they would go, well, why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing
I don't
that?
like.
And I go, because this is not American wrestling.
You gotta earn this respect. You gotta earn this respect.
This is Lucha Libre. This is different. Oh, well, how come these guys don't sell? Because my theory is the first two matches are video game matches where you're like going, holy shit. And then after that, we have matches with storylines. Like, they think there's no storylines involved.
Yeah, and of course, what you're going to see when you buy a tape in the 90s, it was all, hey, here's the best stuff out of Mexico.
Right.
Some people would buy, like, oh, here's the whole Triple Mania or whatever. Like, a lot of people, it's like, okay, here's best of, Shocker. Best of, if there was a best of Shocker, whoever. But, so you didn't really see, like, the whole show. You saw, oh, here's a great match.
Like
here's another great match.
If they would have seen the build-up to, for example, Love Machine and Blue Panther, Santo and Octagon against Love Machine and Eddie Guerrero, me against Pedro Aguayo, me against Jake the Snake, those were well-built storylines.
Sure, yeah.
Also, another... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you this question. Give me your thoughts on night 1 and night 2, the highlights and the lowlights for you of WrestleMania.
Okay, so I went to WrestleMania both nights.
Looking for a fourth member.
Okay, tell me one thing. What could you tell me about the crowd?
Let's find a fourth member, guys
What could you tell me
and
about
gals.
the crowd that if I wasn't there, I wouldn't know?
Well, I think with WrestleMania tickets are so expensive.
That's ridiculous.
There were fewer families than, like, if you go to a local WWE or AEW show or whatever. There's going to be a lot of families there because the tickets are a little bit cheaper. You can buy 4 tickets.
Ridiculous and stupid.
Here, I saw a lot of people that came on their own, or they came with a friend, or they met up with a friend they knew that came from somewhere else. Because, about a week before the show.
Right? Let's do it, T.
I'm talking no seat, $700. And that was a week before.
That's silly.
The show,
WWE wrong for that. TKO is wrong for that shit.
They
Charging that much.
very last day. But, like, prior to that, and the thing with WrestleMania is most people come from far away. You're not going to fly in and hope you get a $100 ticket on the last day.
Right.
You're buying an expensive freaking ticket.
Right.
Yeah, but let me tell you just something real quick. Just a quick sidebar. Tons of Vegas people here waited until the end. There was no way Vegas people were spending that much on it. Like,
No, because they live in Vegas.
Right. Exactly. They knew the tickets would drop, and then exactly.
So, I mean, the people that I saw, there's 60,000 people there, so I can't tell you what every place is like. But, I mean, the people that I saw, there was a lot of, a single person, or a single person and their girlfriend, or a bunch of single people that met up with other single people they know from the internet or whatever. So, the thing about night 1, because I was in the building and Dave was watching on TV from, we had a suite, and he was like, man, this show is not very good, the crowd stopped. And I was like, this show is great. They weren't hot for the New Day match, but like everything else, they were into the show. And then the next night, it was like, oh man, the crowd's a lot better tonight. I was like, no, it's almost exactly the same. So I think there was something about having mic'd it on night 1 where it came across like a bad crowd, but it wasn't. So night 1 it was a fine
Why did
show.
you
I wouldn't call it a great show, but the main event was fantastic. And the place went wild for the main event. That was most important.
Oh, fair, man.
They were really tall and fast. And with all. But even though, like, you would think that everybody would know there was
That was too.
Yeah, so they were really invested in it. And this was the best thing on night 1 by far.
Yes.
And then night 2,
This season.
great. All the way up to the Logan Paul.
The
The first Logan Paul match I've ever seen where people didn't seem to really special. He was like 15 minutes in. They weren't into the feud, and they were starting to get tired. And so they didn't show all that much about the match.
I think part of it could have been, Brian, that they really didn't do a good job of building it up because it was mostly just promo. Like, he never wrestled.
No, there was nothing about the match that was like, this is totally real. It doesn't matter. So that's kind of how the people watch it.
Depends on the bit.
And then the main event, on the show. I mean, you're
Yeah.
fucking great. I mean, I couldn't say it like
The bar is
dozen Manias. It's the worst Mania main event I've ever seen. The wrestling is terrible. The finish sucks. Like everybody's expecting the Rock, not there.
Bro, I said that yesterday, right? And people go, well, he never said he was going to be there. Well, he alluded to the fact he would be there, okay? Why did you do all these promos before then? Yeah.
The elimination chamber was all built around the Rock wanted Cody's soul.
Right.
And the fuck that.
Right.
Cody said no, so just to the point. And then all over the main event of Elimination Chamber leading to Mania. So like nobody could say, well, the Rock's leaving. We're never going to see the guy.
Right.
And even though they didn't mention he was going to be there, they were showing finally the Rock has come back to Las Vegas. Sure.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
Something happened where he didn't show up for whatever reason.
Right.
And I don't
Yeah,
know.
because he goes, oh, well,
Yeah.
you heard what he said, right?
Oh,
And I was like, really, dude?
I
And
just,
here's the thing. This is how much of a mark I still am. I was hoping that he would do a run-in. And when he did, I was more pissed.
well, everybody thought he was going to do a run-in.
Yeah.
I mean, even when the match ended, like, I was ready to get out of there because I was tired and it was
Right.
a long weekend. But I still waited and watched the screen.
Right.
Because I was waiting for them to put that copyright 2025 WWE. So I knew when that was up, like, it was over.
Right.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm out of here.
Right.
And I started getting out of there, and I walked a little slow because I thought they could hit this music at any time, and I got to see if he shows up. But somebody didn't. It was like, everybody leaving was like, where the fuck's the Rock? Why wasn't the Rock
Right.
here?
I got a theory. I literally just thought of this as you guys are having this conversation. Well, this is 2 years in a row that they have changed.
Mess with my damn camera. Get it right.
It's doing it in the main event, for the main event on WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, let's shit, right?
No Rock said, take the Rock, get fucked out of the match, and do his final boss. Okay, cool.
Oh shoot it! Right, oh, you got this.
Like he's kind of a petulant.
Oh, you nothing.
Well, let me just say this. You know what I would have done, Brian? Okay. I would have had The Rock versus Roman, which would have been a great
Still?
game. Okay? Maybe have some of the elders there, people like that somehow get involved. Okay? And wait till next year so we can main event WrestleMania. You know, but that's what I would do.
Well, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I did hear somebody, I apologize, I can't remember, I just saw it on Twitter, and I was like, God damn, this might be a... So, with the Rock, so last year, Rock wanted to do Rock and Roll. Take Cody out, for Cody won the Road. The fans turned on it, they didn't want it, and Rock was finally like, alright, do Cody and Roman, I can fuck everything else. And his idea, they didn't use his idea, okay? So the match ends, Cody wins the title, and they did a big angle on the Rock to set up Cody and Roman for this year's WrestleMania. So it was probably around how to look at the ball, and if me and Dave were talking about whatever, and I said, like, you know, sure, they're doing Cody and Roman at Mania this year, and he goes, that's not the plan. I was like, what? He goes, that's not happening. That's not the plan. And I was like, well, why did they shoot that whole angle? And that's not the plan. He was like, no, that's not the plan now. And so, I was like, okay. And then, you know, they built up to the elimination chamber, and the original idea was that Cena was going to turn to WrestleMania, not at the change, right? The build to Mania was going to be Cody's a babyface, Cena's a babyface, We're building up. Will he break the record? You know, they both have mutual respect. And then on the day of the show, Cena turns heel, proves Cody, wins the title for the 17th time. And like, if you watched the show, that would have been a million times better. It would have been a million times better. The Rock shows up in Elimination Chamber, allegedly because the show's not selling tickets. And he changed all around. And he has Cena turn heel on that show. So, the Elimination Chamber to Mania, because Cena turned heel a month earlier, like if you watch it, it's like you've got nothing to say for a month. It turns out every fan is like, it's you fans. I'm like, oh, damn, how many times I can hear this? Like 6 weeks of this.
Until the match.
Yep, and you're waiting for The Rock to be there, and they've got The Rock, finally The Rock has come back to Vegas to pick it up, and then it's Rock doesn't show up. So the point of all of this is, somebody on Twitter, their theory, which now that I think about it, it's not a bad theory.
But late, too little, too late, and
and so this year he was like, well,
you made play big to
Why
that.
didn't you do this stuff during the after? Then why
you
did
do all
you?
this stuff in Elimination Chamber, and it's set up for WrestleMania, and then you just can't show.
BetOnline is the number one source for all your summer sports this season, from MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL playoffs.
Damn, stupid shit in the way. Somebody get the damn thing. Well, I was distracted it.
The latest team matches, Cody's going to finish the story, right? And we were like, okay, finish the story.
Y'all some scared ass bitches.
Like, you know, like you finish the story, like you were made right, and that's pretty good because you don't have another good story. So the bloodline basically, you know, evaporated. All the characters that were in that
Baby girl, you barely did shit. You went broke with.
like even if they used
Man, Captain Nolan, we did all the damn work. Come on.
and that whole shit, right? And then we just right that close their
Being scary.
done. Cody, you know, we haven't really had a very incredible, we didn't have an incredibly competitive story. Nobody thought he was terrible, he was good at himself. And it's just
Scary.
we're in like calendar year now, where there's creative just been flat. Because they ended the storylines, the Bloodline storyline and the Cody storyline. And they have not picked up any momentum since then. You know,
I mean, I think that, like I said, I mean, it felt the day after WrestleMania last year that he finished the story, which is winning the title, but then, hey, there's The Rock. I'm going to give you this gift. That was like a 45-minute segment, The Rock after WrestleMania, with The Rock and Cody. And it was like, okay, well, no matter what they do, it's not an easy road to WrestleMania. It's The Rock versus Cody Rhodes. Like, it's going to be easy. And so, you know, you guys do whatever for the summer and such, and I'm just kind of waiting for, all right.
Y'all could have been did that.
It never happened.
well, and let's go to the Raw next one. The first show, the Raw, now we're in the middle, the WrestleMania starting, and The Rock goes on Netflix and hugging Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, it was
No sense whatsoever. And I wonder if that show, they sat back there creatively, figured out all the fucking, if they didn't, like, agree, and then The Rock just finished things up on the home on the Raw Netflix TV.
I'm a sitting.
like Triple H for whatever reason, and they don't like hearing any praise of him whatsoever. But if you look, I watch every show. Okay, I can count on one hand the number of Raw and SmackDown I've not seen in my whole life from 1993 on. It's my job, and as I said,
Okay.
it's so far gone Vince the end. Like, if you look at the way that he works, it really seems to me that The Rock is essentially the new Vince, where they'll have this direction, everything's planned out, everything's ready to go, and then Rock shows up and fucks it all up, and then, like, they're responsible for trying to put everything back. Why would Rock show up and help Cody? That doesn't make any sense. Why would Rock turn? Why would Rock get John Cena's turn on Cody? And literally the story was, I want somebody's soul. You get the guy's soul, and then you claim it. And never talk about you again. You never reference him promo. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Everything that has anything to do with Rock, when The Rock after WrestleMania last year until today.
You shot at this thing.
No sense. So I think he just comes in and has some ideas, does, and because he's the Rock, it's like they can't say no to him. It's all over. It's not making it better. Like nothing he's done has made anything better since that Rock WrestleMania.
But they've said, that's what I was going to ask. They said no, though, that they didn't do the Rock. That they didn't put Cody with the Rock. So that's my question would be, how does our structure actually work? This time it's saying no to the Rock. There was no they really say no to the Rock. We don't know if the Rock makes a fast commitment, and so they make a plan, and then he pulls out of his commitment. I mean, I can't imagine that if he did what he did in Elimination Chamber, with the idea that he wasn't going to be a thing. Right. They made the shirt. They're not making shirts for no reason. They just assume it's going to be there. And they haven't seen it yet.
You brought this up, and I can guarantee you it's what it was. There was definitely a difference of opinion on how it should be used between WWE and him, and at the end he said, you know what I'm saying? If you want to do what I want, and you're going to fuck me around again, then I don't want to be here.
You know? Something happened.
Yeah.
Let me end up being something else. Let me ask you this. I want to
Very
talk about,
specific.
Joe, play that aerial I want to get the point that you think this is true. I think that'd be good. Got that? We'll get it 2 minutes.
Brandon, no.
If you have to stay up. That's like people's right when it comes to wrestling. When people are playing wrestler, and it feels like they're playing a character, it bothers me. Why is it working for Logan Paul? It's working for Logan Paul right now because it feels like he is just a kid. Why did it work for Hollywood Hogan? Because it felt like he was truly a kid. We don't believe that John Cena is a kid. We don't believe that John Cena is a bad guy. We don't believe that he wants to be, the questions and do the thing at the press conference saying clickbait. He doesn't look like a bad guy. And so for me it feels inauthentic. It feels forced. It doesn't feel special. And when you don't explain 2 months later the partnership, the union with the Rock, you don't explain 2 months later the partnership with Travis Scott, it feels flat. This should have been the crescendo of a year-long story that really started on the Monday after WrestleMania 40 last week with The Rock and Cody Rhodes, and it could have ended in a beautiful way yesterday, a year later, with The Rock showing up and Cody getting his revenge, whatever it is, or even The Rock getting his revenge, whatever it is. Rock didn't even show up. This whole thing had to do with The Rock, dating back to last year in Philadelphia. And then, of course, in Toronto, and then he doesn't show up. And why? I still don't understand why Travis Scott is there. Still don't understand. Now, this is fun. This is entertaining.
Get your weapon out.
I'm going to read pro wrestling. I'm going to take the belt. And I get it. And I bet if someone was on creative team listening to this, be like, just waiting. I was all telling that. Well, I'm judging it right now. Monday, April 21st at 1:30 p.m. Right now, it feels flat. Right now, there's 3 holes in it. Right now, there was a thread, and someone took a scissor and split. There was no continuity anymore. There was no connection. What is the connection between two and one stuff? If you're telling us wait and see, well, what better time than WrestleMania to explain that connection? And we're supposed to believe that God is going to do some kind of cut to Cody Rhodes?
What's your take on that, Brian?
Well, I don't know I don't think the problem is that people don't think that John Cena is a bad guy, because there's a lot of people that if they're good at their job, you're gonna boo them or cheer them when you think they're just a bad guy. I think the problem with John Cena and his heel right now is every promo that he's had feels like a promo that he had in his mind in like 2012, and he's now doing it with them. When he talks about you guys booed me, you guys didn't accept me, all this and that. It's like, yeah, maybe if you had turned heel in 2012, like this would have all made sense. But dude, we've been hearing it back. You come here, you've left for like a decade, and they never do it. They always treat you like a giant superstar. And now you're just doing that.
Thanks! Go on!
They didn't do that. He is playing a character. He's playing a bad guy pro wrestler now. Because nothing happened in the 10 years
But he's reckless. He's going to do something like 2,000.
You all gotta give it its fresh. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, because I'll forget. Here's the thing. He was kind of forced into it.
Yeah.
And we know that. And so, like, when you say some people are buying it, some people aren't, here's the problem. There's a lot of people that have been watching wrestling for maybe 5 years or under, 10 years or under. Go TV, news, digital, audio, right? That's a lot of years. So you can see through that. And I always say, when you're booking, you want to keep everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? You don't want the hardcore guys shooting holes into your book. And so we know the shit like that. You know, for example, I'll give you an example of somebody that plays that. That's two bad guys that don't do shit with it. Very cross. He's a believable bad guy. Yeah. Yeah, the original idea of him turning heel at Mania, I mean, there's a decent chance if you would have done 6 weeks after Elimination Chamber of back and forth babyface promos with Cena and Cody, there's a chance maybe people would have turned on Cena, and then he does his heel turn, and now you have something to talk about that we all followed on.
Damn. Baby girl is all over.
The worst of TNA, when one of the things that they would do in TNA is they would suddenly start telling you a story. Like, I don't even a perfect example, but let's just say that, like, you have two guys out there, for 5 years you've been watching them do whatever, and then one day they'd be like, these two guys are best friends. And this guy got beaten up, and now he's really upset about it, he's best friend. And as a viewer, you're like, they're your best friends? I never saw them do anything together. Right. And then create the story, and then they didn't want you to care about it, they told you the story. But you never actually saw the story.
She's starting to, like, warm up to me now, like, since the dog's gone. And she never wanted to take the attention from the dog. Hey, Brian. She never wanted to take the attention from the dog. And, so, like, if she would come up to me, the dog would come up. And then she would run the other way. And you know, and that's like...
Show us something. When we hear, we're like, you know, actually a good example was just a nothing story, but I like that they did it.
Now,
I did Nick Aldis and RKO. This is RKO. Nick Aldis is all angry. And Randy Orton says, last year, I gave you an RKO, and I got fined $100,000. But I paid $200,000. And they warned you that that was too much. I don't even know if at the time they knew they were going to do this. Right. But a fucking year later, he gives the guy the RKO, and Aldis is all mad.
Yesterday, I believe I did.
I already paid for this last year. It was like, God damn it. It wasn't something they pulled out of thin air. It was like something that we saw that they followed up on. Like, it's just to me, it's basic storytelling. Show, don't tell. You can tell, but you gotta tell me something that you also showed.
I want to get into, because you mentioned something here that I want to get into, because I've heard you kind of, it's funny too, because everything to me is Tony is AEW Davis, right? Well, those people are used to get points of contention, the way they produce their television, that agreed with.
Sure.
Because everybody's like, Davis gets to say right now, and then I'm like, yeah, but they're not telling the story. Telling the story means a video package of things that have happened on other shows and threads are like, if I'm turning on your shows, tell me like the way the WWE does with these video packages to explain the story like this. Get the story produced on television. And like we talk about content on AEW, but like that is the biggest this production, the way it's going to be, is that they're very put on this category. Because they don't really, they assume you know everything. They really want collision. They assume like you want this, they really want all this to be, but it's based on knowledge. It's like, it's kind of difficult to follow. It's like, you know, like, right, so, support, right, they don't tell the story. And I think people read that people that they need to do that.
Let me piggyback off that before you answer. Yeah. So the problem is a fucking, you know, they, like, I remember one time I was like, because we have this guy that joins us every week, he's an AEW fan, so much so that we have it on the podcast, so he is a friend of the show, and I was like, why did this happen? He goes, oh, it's straight up ECT, or EDD, or whatever the fuck that shit is called. And I was like, what?
But let me see, you've got commentators there. Commentate. It's almost like if you
Will never be the same.
video.
Will never be the same.
I mean,
Never be the same.
Japanese and Mexican talent.
I'm not gonna shit you. I'm not.
I would it sound like a weird way to start.
I don't hear the answers to like this. I'm not gonna shit you.
Right. And I mean, it's like 5 hours or whatever. I'm tired. And I'm waiting
Shit
for
you.
the content to start.
Good.
And then the first one
I know
and
that.
it goes for an hour or whatever. And
Skip the what? Skip the what? You.
Tony a question. And I can't
Get
remember
you.
what it was, but he was clearly offended by this question. And it might have been something like, you know...
Come on, baby
But
girl.
anyway, his response to this was he goes, actually, this does make sense, and this began in 2021. And he proceeded to explain this entire storyline from 2021 all the way through whatever it was, like 2023, whatever the stress on. And not only do you remember everything that happened, but he was like, this one happened, and then this happened on April 21st, and then on May 15th, and he put name in the city, and I just remember everything. And I was so tired, but like, I sat there and I just woke up.
Hello, Prime Time.
Going 15 minutes
Okay.
about this storyline. And when I was there, I was glad I'd been there because I was fucking exhausted. But I was like, this is one of the problems. And that is,
What ears?
God remembers everything. He remembers
You got my God, man.
every building. He's like
You
a
get that?
photographic memory of everything he's ever done. And everybody, I think that everybody often, and especially if you go online, you'll see this all the time. Everybody thinks everybody else is like them. Okay? And I don't think he thinks that everybody has a memory like he does, but I do think that he often forgets that almost everyone else does. Because sometimes I watch the television, and it's like he's writing it for himself. I remember that this person did this in this town on this day to this person. So I'm going to do a follow-up. And if you're one of the people, like he calls them the sickos, and I deal with them every day, if you're one of these really hardcore AEW fans, and you are like them, then when a guy like me or Disco or whoever says, what the hell's going on here, they'll go, you didn't see the Ring of Honor show 3 weeks ago where this guy turned on that? It's like, no, I didn't. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. And, like, I could look it up. There's part of me that's like, what's my job? So
Come on, girl.
my job is like, to be critiquing the show. And a lot of times, I will point out, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea why this is happening. And then, you know, someone on Twitter, oh, it's because of this. It's like, it doesn't matter if you remember. The viewer needs to remember. There are not enough video packs. And like, if you are one of these AEW sickos, when you suggest video packs, they get angry.
Y'all left. Took forever, girl.
I don't want to be spoon-fed what's going on. That's fine for you, but you aren't the audience. You're going to watch no matter what. What about all of the other people who aren't sickos, and like, they need to be told, okay, this is what happened. I watched the NXT last night. I didn't see the PLE this week. I just didn't expect it. They had like a 2-3 minute video pack at the beginning of NXT. I know everything that happened on that show. I know who won what. I know who favorite who. I know why. I know every angle getting on Saturday. It was a 3-minute video pack. Right. So I watched the NXT show, and not once was I like, what the fuck's going on here? Right. It's like, this is the show on Saturday.
Could you imagine, Brian, Game of Thrones not having the fucking cold open, or Breaking Bad not having the cold open because of
TV shows,
right.
movies,
Right.
everybody does.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with the television show opening with a recap.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with shooting a big angle. WWE does. The 3-hour show, they shoot a big angle the first 15 minutes, they replay the top of the second hour, they replay the top of the third hour. In case you tune in early, you tune in late, whatever, you're going to know what happened. And the thing is with AEW, WWE, any of these shows, almost nobody watches the entire show from start to finish. No, if you look at the numbers, people tune in at the beginning, they watch an hour. People tune in an hour in, they watch an hour. People tune in an hour and a half in, they watch till the end. That's how people watch TV.
Get him.
And so if you shoot a big angle at the beginning, I gotta see at the end. If they shoot a big angle in the middle, I gotta see it the next week in case I missed it. That's how you have to do TV, and yes, they don't do it enough.
Well, go get the other guy.
Some little clip that you were supposed to send me some stuff from the Pat McAfee show.
Oh, yeah.
So I just looked up, I saw this little clip where Paul Lee was on there. He was kind of explaining it. And I was like, what's he talking about?
Yeah. Go to some of those Pat McAfee. Because what you agree with Joe, in retrospect, I think this is kind of, I don't think everybody really understands how good this booking was. Is that during the day, like Heyman and all these guys went on the Pat McAfee show, and they were roasting for smoking weed and stuff like that, right? Okay, so go backtrack to that. They were roasting them. They're roasting ESPN. Okay, fast forward to the show. They literally did an angle where he got choked out, like Gunther on the show, and I was like they literally looked at a whole picture like throughout the day, all the way into the show. Like, you know, do you see it that way, or am I just like outside the box here, like thinking about this?
He left and came back good.
Well, you gotta understand, see, TKO is in, they're not happy with the ESPN pay-per-view stuff because these people are complaining.
No, what are you doing?
Right. So now they want a new suit. And you see like Dana White sitting at the WrestleMania with the Netflix president, and then now all of a sudden, WWE guys are on the ESPN show, and dude, they are roasting ESPN on the show.
Which one do you want to hear, Disco?
Yeah.
Any of them.
So this says Paul's trying to get Pat McAfee into the ESPN show violence. I think what he's keeping on.
Do you care about the opinions of people who are irrelevant? You don't care about the opinions of those people who are very relevant in your life. You don't care about the opinions of the people who continue. They sit there and go, there's Mr. President, I'll go there and talk on video. And you go, I thought that everything was what? I'm Pat McAfee. What's these streamers on all over the place? Then you go back and you go put the podcast on here. What do? I'll take this phone. What's this McAfee? Right? It's not here. It's not here. I mean, I don't think. Your stuff, right? Your stuff, son. I mean, last second when the road was over, and you went over, you just go, I bet. You don't see it in the gotta go crazy. Hollywood's great.
What do you think about all that?
That's excellent.
Hey, that's
Hilarious.
what they did on the show to play with that.
Right.
I don't think everybody translated the two together there. They're thinking like, people that were watching it, but just don't realize that everybody's supposed to that during the day.
That pen on
And then at night they pay it off and the other chumps them out.
Shit.
He says he told Braun Strowman he sucks. So,
You think Braun Strowman? Braun Strowman's a bit crying that he's not on WrestleMania for telling straight to his face. He's on a WrestleMania because he sucks. You think Braun Strowman is
He was on fire. He didn't kind of chance to go on ESPN because you know what? If he gets fired from here, it's like, hey, I'm trying out for ESPN.
He does talk about rounds and rings. Into that.
He'll lie. Like, you get the gist of it. Right.
I'm not here. Gotta get out my face with that shit. I'll knock you out.
So, yeah.
Fold up, don't fold.
Yeah.
38. He's the leader.
Yeah, I have it set up. When it's about Rocket Seas on
Yeah, to me.
Check out one match if you play David Saunders. Rock okay, so he responded to Rock's on match. There were 6 weeks to plan for the match. Love the finish of the match. I would have connected things a little differently than how they got there without the finish. So we did that. The Rock said that here's what was up with it.
Now that everybody's bitching and moaning about the match of WrestleMania 41, The Rock is going to go on the biggest show in sports talk radio. You're going to go on his show and say, yeah, I would have done this. Yeah, I would have done this. Nice to hear from you. It's over. So now that everybody's bitching and complaining, yeah, I would have done it different. But really, you talk about a Monday morning quarterback. There's a Tuesday morning quarterback. Thanks, Al. Didn't make yourself available. Didn't show up at WrestleMania. But now I'm going to say, yeah, I would have done things different. You talk about completely throwing Triple H under the bus. That's exactly what The Rock did. You know what you're saying to The Rock?
Right.
You know what?
Right.
I thought they did an awesome job. Or you know what? Don't say anything at all.
Oh.
But by saying that, you just threw Triple H under the bus. If you're not going to be there, you didn't take part of it, then you shouldn't say anything. Now, if he was part of the creative process, and he was there, then you could say, I think, we, because he's part of the fucking company. No, but he doesn't mind saying I would have done things differently. I would have judged things. He loves saying we when it's successful. But when it's not, he's going to be like, I would have.
He's got a point. He's got somewhat of a point there.
So here's the response. The Rock said, hi, Dave. This is a complete work. Always has been, always will be. Every aspect of it, every match, every interview. Please join me, Cody, Cena, Brian, and the rest of us for a creative discussion. You can expand the perspective. Until then, stop ranting. It's not healthy, my friend. Enjoy the show. Yes, Club Love IO, REA, and let's cut this for all of us.
Oh, you hear my name.
So then, here's how Pat responded to that.
Dave. I love professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling.
Yeah, come on, bitches.
I'm passionate about it. Because I dive into it, and it's not about, oh, it's real to me, damn it. But man, it is. It is. You put your bodies on every time you step into a wrestling ring. You're putting your health and your body on the line. It's no more real than that. That's as real as it could possibly be. So when you say it's a work, I don't need to be reminded. I know that. I'm trying to fight that off from everybody outside of our circle. I don't need somebody inside the circle who's just at the highest now in this business, which is the WWE, to tell me it's not real. I already know that. I know that it's not real. So let me buy into the match because that is professional wrestling. So when you say it's a work and that it's fake, then what are we doing here? What are we doing? The reason I rant and rave like I do is because I'm passionate about it. I didn't like what I saw at the end of WrestleMania 41. It's like it's my Cowboys team or my Yankees team. I'm going to rant and rave about that. Doesn't mean I hate it. It's because I love it that I get so passionate and I yell and scream about it. Don't tell me it's the work. I don't need you to tell me. That's supposed to be from Dick or Jane down the street that doesn't like professional wrestling. They're the ones that tell me it's the work and that it's fake. Not somebody within the business. Believe in the magic. It's the magic that makes people buy a ticket to go see WrestleMania or sit on their ass for 3 hours to watch the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Because it's real for them. They don't need to be reminded that it's fake. So all due respect, Rock, all due respect, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, I appreciate what you've done for me and for this business, but what you put in that response I felt was wrong. And it hurt me. It actually, I'm not angry about it. I'm actually hurt and disappointed with the response.
That's the holy Bible.
He's absolutely got a point. And I'll say this too. So, but the one he's very condescending to. You know, it's like I'm a Hollywood but he's very dismissive of like marginalizing what's dismissive about pro wrestling. Oh, he's on the board of TKO. Like, this is very, like, this is a $9 million company. Like, saying shit like that on social media that you think it's not,
Who Mars?
it's not the coming of, like, somebody that what that show would be doing.
I'm surprised he's even answering it.
I don't know, unless they're going to lead to some type of angle or Triple H and Rock that will broke up. Like that thing, but they're going to, but why do you I don't think it's a little place. He didn't want to. Yeah.
This is about to be dinner time. Recognize
You
something.
know, but giving double work there. You know, that's just, yeah, that's just podcast. Okay, guess what? We have some great news. The legacy stuff and the legacy ultimate stuff, the back in stock, the legacy stuff.com. I'm sure everyone knows up to the bicep stuff. Stuff to stack it up with the legacy stack and the ultimate stack, the dedicated. For sure. So this they've been really so popular, legacy out of stock all some fun. So even on the machines that try to net selling stack for safety and actually optimize your testosterone levels, don't hesitate. The modern world is full of content below your testosterone. That's going to fight back to make sure to naturally stimulate your body's own natural testosterone production all the time. You can profitability help your shape and your testosterone. Also, a healthier sex drive and better sleep of your fucking body. So that's an technical knowledge nowadays. We're going to still check back at legacysex.com. Remember to use the code K120. It's the #1 discount code used for legacysex.com to get a 10% discount and support this show. That's LEGACYSUPS.com. All of it, don't forget.
Saying pretty is.
If you're losing weight, feeling better.
So we use
You use tape, right? I know.
I think it goes extremely. And again, I read that out to you guys in the next state.
Yeah. But the Giants, I don't know, the Giants don't take the full back, so.
Well, we'll see.
Let's just go through.
Okay. Yo, we're back with another episode of K100 Sports. Boom.
I want to talk about just something real quick to it, okay? So, this is interesting, because, you know, usually like really good players...
No, I'm not quitting.
Year after year, right? Right. So this year was time with the second best player in the league. That's a goal league now, all right? But this is... the guys that
My teammates kicking ass like...
right? But part of the collective varsity...
My teammates kicking ass like no tomorrow.
They did 35 million over the next 5 years by part of guys who went like that to do the conference.
Oh, wow.
I think one of the top 30 is crazy.
They came out with the NBA players on the poll of the most overrated players.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, he was #1 last year and #2 this year. Guess who's #1?
Yeah,
Who do you think #1 is?
The most overrated player in the league?
Yeah.
The most overrated by the players. It's for the players.
son.
It's got to be a stud. Is he overrated?
No, I'll let you know.
Two different.
Oh, how does overrated?
Bro, the guy's a stud. And you know who's like #4?
Who?
Your boy Trey Young. How can they call him overrated?
Well, because they didn't really have a lot of success. You know what?
No. I think that the reason they call him overrated, I bet you Disco, is because he gets under everybody's skin.
Well, I think he does. Okay? And he doesn't play much defense at all. But, bro, this poor guy, okay? He was like all the all-stars. He's never played with another all-star on his team. And James Johnson he should have been, but he's hurt. But you know, the pros, like that's malpractice by the Hawks. Like, you need to plan to sound players. Don't say he can't be a one-man team.
Right, don't waste his greatest years.
Right.
Get him carrying the team by himself. That's bad. The GM, I'll give you an example now that we're talking about GMs. I could not believe this, and I'm sure you read it. By the way, for people that don't know, I just told you my first 3 top picks, and I also think that Pittsburgh traded spots with San Francisco so they could get
Wait a second. I know. Wait, so Jacksonville? I Did they trade you? How many guys were there with you?
Really?
What am I missing here? Hey, hang on. On the quad, you know, this says Cleveland. So on the fucking, oh, they just traded. Okay, so now they trade. So now the Browns have the 5, the 33, and the 36, and the Jaguars just traded up to 6. Wow, the Jaguars going to get San Antonio if they call it.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, you know, they might.
very, very smart move by the Jaguars, but they don't make money.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They said the top 2 in the net the top 2 bets available as far as we'll see what happens. This is very interesting. Nice incredible growth. What if Tony
Root it. Think he can do whatever he wants. Think he can do what he wants to do.
Right? Doesn't he usually
Yes,
work?
yes.
No, remember when he
Hoodlums. Yes, man.
Yeah.
I bet you it's
Yes, man. Yes, man.
be respected.
Hookers.
They're
Skanks.
all hugging, so the pick is in, so we'll see who this is. But they're all hugging each other. I imagine they're happy that they got Travis Hunter there.
So
Hurry up, Martin.
General manager. So listen to this, Nico Harrison.
Yes.
He said that he underestimated the love for Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Right? He goes, I actually saved this quote. I did not know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know.
I knew it was important. Didn't know to what extent.
Right, to what level? He goes, really, the way we looked at it was if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Jay Washington, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively, we feel that's a championship. Okay, let me just give you a counter to that. First of all, as great as AD is, he's 32 with a history of injury. Luka's 26. Okay. Also, my other question is, why would anybody assume that a guy that's a first team All-NBA selection in his prime would be, and he's a homegrown young superstar that went to the NBA Finals last year, why would he be so beloved by the fans? What an idiot. Bro, and Dallas as an organization, they've alienated 2 guys that, you know, are just synonymous with them. Nowitzki, you know what happened with Nowitzki?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like just about right, yeah.
Biden.
Like he's been synonymous with Kevin Madison.
Right. But right now they're alienated him because he felt excluded from the decision making when they traded Luka. They didn't even tell him.
Alienated.
I think he helped bring Luka to Dallas. Okay.
Alienated.
And it's almost like not telling LeBron about the Luka and AD trade. You know, they should have told him how to respect. You know, to Nowitzki and Cuban. He thought he was going to stay control of basketball operations, but they put Nico Harrison.
Russian people know.
Bro, Cuban has publicly criticized the Doncic trade.
Everybody has.
And the team direction under Harrison. Dallas is a mess.
Yeah, the total mess. But in their defense, they didn't expect a reason for. Okay, so that we never saw. I mean, maybe it might have been really good. I mean, you never know. You know?
Yeah, dude, but they didn't get shit back to them. They got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round draft choice. I felt, you know, Lakers stole that trade.
Yeah, this. What do you talk about that? I had this ready to go here. Did you hear what Charles Barkley said about this?
Well, what are you talking about?
About the Nico Harrison stuff.
No, I did not.
Okay, all right. So the NBA playoffs are now in full swing.
2 games in.
Yeah, 2 games in. Oh, you know, Oklahoma City has beaten Memphis by at least 13 points in all 7 times. Okay, so they're laying 10 points around the road. They like
50 in the first game.
Yeah, so this thing's over. Okay. The Nuggets and Clippers are going at it. I was surprised. I like the Clippers a lot in the series. We talked about that. I was surprised that the Westbrook went off.
Right.
In that game 1, they took game 1, but the Clippers.
Oh, bro. How about that game? Yeah, he was incredible.
That's why
He was unstoppable.
Yeah.
And bro, Joe's boy, Ben Simmons, boy, have he been shining on the bench.
Travis Hunter goes to Jackson.
I told you he'd be the second pick.
Yeah. 2 players for the price of one is actually a great pick. You know, I was reading somewhere that somebody said that he was equal to wide receiver.
Who's this Negro with?
That's how good as a receiver gets.
No, he's great, bro.
I know.
He's like Deion Sanders.
Right. Joe, I sent you a clip. It's like, I want to funny to hear this.
I'm surprised he even came back.
Back. This is great, right here.
Yeah, okay. Is that my right there? Okay. Listen, man. I consider you a friend of mine. Nico Harris. I consider you a friend of mine. I wish you did nothing for us. I thought you did a good job last year with the Mavs. And I'm doing whatever happens this year. Man, don't do no more press conference. Like, I don't even know what you're doing. I really don't. Like, I got sympathy and love for you, but I have zero idea what you're trying to do. Get more over, brother. Where's the fucker at? Get the hell. Or you keep your job, or just keep me happy, but man, don't do anything to do. Good job. Is that my camera right there? Yeah, that's it. It's like right. He's right. Yeah, I read it.
The guy's come just like an idiot.
Right. Oh, I have no idea that it's like that much love for him. Really? So, the Cavaliers, you take care of business with the team, obviously, they didn't do anything last year. They just go to the foul time. We don't even close to the end of the game yesterday. And the Celtics, the match, actually, the most of the Celtics did everybody covered this thing. And Jason Tatum's got what's the problem?
No, it's a wrist problem.
Wrist problem, too.
It's a bone damage, dude. That's it.
This is something now that they're not playing.
We'll beat Orlando,
right?
And by the time the second season starts, Tatum will be back. Tatum not before.
Okay, so
we just have too much firepower. Orlando's a two-man team. Wagner, and Bucket, and Carroll. Those two are incredible. I'd hate to see them get some players around them, but they're unstoppable.
The other interesting team, they always the Rockets take game one. The Rockets are young. The Rockets shot well when Jimmy Butler got hurt. So everybody was, I thought that was a really tough. It looked like everybody said they get pushed by Draymond. Everything he tripped up over the guy's feet. But it looked really like he was one.
I ain't in the mood for you. I don't know. You earn that shit, because I kick. Definitely kick you. Kick your ass.
I don't know about that match.
He's gonna kick your ass. Let's go.
If he was considered like the 5th most overrated guy.
No. No.
Believe that. I said if Damian Lillard plays, they'll win.
I said if he comes back and it's perfectly chemistry, they're gonna.
Come on, hurry up!
Actually, they could get a groove though. They're going back home, but they were down 2 games and nothing left back.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll give you right now. The Knicks.
Don't tell me.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
No, it's only the first half.
Okay.
Escape their asses.
They got bamboozled the first game. I don't think LeBron, like when he loses game 1, his numbers in winning game 2 in any series has been against the greatest players of all time.
Got to try to get me. I escape.
Right.
So they really shut down.
That's it for me. That's it for me, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. See y'all for wrestling tomorrow. ACW Storm.
They're playing good defense.
Still quick to 2K25. My last week in 2K24. So, if you want to say something to me now, want to say hi now, better speak now before I shut this whole thing down.
Go down low.
Do it.
Literally, like, elbow the guy 3 times and then hit him with his shoulder and then score. And all 3 were fouls, so they're letting him play.
See y'all. All right. See you, sir.